Amazon is going to start charging us 4.5% more at checkout, and that's because it's the Oklahoma state sales tax. But they say all this money will come back to taxpayers for other things in the end. Soon your doorstep delivery will come with Oklahoma sales tax included.
I printed out these court records. They show that Valdez pled guilty to the continuous sexual abuse and physical abuse of 2 very small children.
The city told me all of the projects are to keep up with the population growth. The biggest road project will happen at this intersection, turning 23rd Street into a 5-lane road from Kenosha down here to Houston.
The owners say this cable was blocking the entrance to the farm, but the suspects drove right through it.
The idea is that people who walk their pups every single day know exactly what is and isn't supposed to be happening.
Video shows they walked car to car, checking door handles, looking for ones that were unlocked so they could take a peek inside.
Cosper said it all happened fast. He wasn't injured, but when he got out of his car, this is what he saw. Just look at the damage. He's lucky he wasn't hurt.
Police say once those employees were able to get away from the suspects, they actually ran more than half a mile to get help at this Walmart.
Tulsa police were the ones who ended up finding this guy. They said he was hiding in the back of a truck.
But now, because of not 1, but 3 bills proposed by 3 separate Tulsa County reps, Spencer could have to go back.
It wasn't even the drugs police say was most concerning in this case. They say it was the hidden gun and a bag full of Halloween masks, specifically Spider-Man, Ghostface, and a skull. Police say that was a big clue.
Young has been bonding out all of these times, so today a judge tried to make that a little bit harder. For that one possession of a stolen vehicle complaint, he is facing a bond of $100,000. Now, to let me put that in perspective for you, his girlfriend on that same complaint is only facing $2,000. Reporting live here in East Tulsa, covering news that matters, Sarah Whaley, Fox 23 News.
The top 3 spots are right here together. Number 1 here on Boulder. Number 2 is 1 block that way. And number 3 is 1 block that way. Here's how it looks from above. All 3 top spots in the same area downtown.
She hasn't lost her touch.
I'll rebound for you.
First try!
O'Carroll's motion says the first issue involves Lisa Kepler's infant son, who was recently placed in DHS custody.
But the problem is we have a cap in the atmosphere. So I'm representing that here with a boiling pot of water. And this right here is our cap that we're dealing with, which is pretty much a layer of warm air several thousand feet up in the atmosphere, which pretty much keeps those that air from lifting all the way up and keeps those storms from developing higher up into the atmosphere. And because of that cap, those storms really can't grow that large and get that powerful unless they can punch through, which could happen in spots off to the east, at least in a few spots. Once you remove that cap, boom, you've got convection and the possibility for some stronger storms.
This is a very large crime scene. You can see it starts right here at one building and stretches all the way across the street to the middle of the next building.
Owners at Josie Records say at their other locations, they've seen a steady increase in vinyl sales each year.
So is it any wonder mayors around the state are saying, hold on?
One new regulation would require those businesses to have tinted windows so you can't see what's on display inside.
Simpson says by the time someone with the alarm company called him and they started checking the cameras, the burglar had already made it in and out.
Where I'm standing now, it's perfectly legal to dance. But over here, it's illegal to dance because I'm within 500 feet of this church.
Here's a breakdown according to court documents. Over $136,000 to pay off her own credit cards. Over $100,000 in personal purchases, including theme park and concert tickets. Over $35,000 in stolen tuition from parents, and over $33,000 in unpaid withholdings from her paycheck for her medical insurance.
Most of these people, like Edmund Owens, just didn't check in with their parole officer, but 10 of them actually escaped from behind prison bars.
Covering news that matters, Fox 23 News at 6 starts right now.
Trying for the gun. I got it in my hand.
We are now hearing from a Tulsa police gang officer about the fight of his life caught on camera. I'm Clay Loney.
And I'm Shay Rozzi. This video has so many people talking. The video first aired on A&E's Live PD that airs Friday nights at 8. It shows Officer Justin Beal trying to wrestle a loaded gun away from a suspect.
New at 6, Fox 23 Sarah Whaley's reporting live for us with an interview you'll see only on Fox 23. Sarah.
Now, the video is quite lengthy, so let me set this up for you. Now, this guy right here you see on the screen, he wasn't even under arrest. Officers say they were just talking with him because they smelled marijuana. Now, that's when they say he ran.
And as soon as he went to the ground, both hands dove down towards his waistband.
Police say about 2 hours later, they got another call from the victim. She told them that Luker knew he was wanted on that kidnapping warrant. So when officers were there earlier, he forced her into the bathroom, told her to be quiet, and refused to let.
Shaw lives in a row of houses that back up to the park.
The comment was on a national podcast, and the topic was civil asset forfeiture.
We had a Widener County sheriff that stopped someone.
He says daycares are overregulated. He has plans for legislation this session to scale back laws with unintended consequences.
Officials are scared it could get a little bigger. Here's what we're looking at. You can see this is the kind of the green box up here that's well to the northeast of San Francisco and the Bay Area and up northwest of Lake Tahoe. We can zoom in. You can see Oroville shows up on the map, and there's the dam itself. And we're seeing the spillway just up on the edge of the dam. So we go from the dam back up here. This is the spillway. Now, crews there are working around the clock to drain some of that lake before that compromised spillway has to deal with more rain that hits on Wednesday.
Firefighters said they think it's odd it all started at a time when no one was here. Let me step behind my camera and give you a closer look. Across this field, that's the building we're talking about, and it's inside this building where a fire investigator spent much of the day looking at burn patterns to try to figure out how all of this started.
Police say when the two men were arrested on Friday for breaking into Unit 51, they had no idea that they had also broken into Unit 52 and 53. But as they were recovering the stolen items out of Unit 51 in Morgan's car, they also found one of these black master locks that matched the two other units.
Kelly was standing right here in the street at around 6 p.m. wearing a bright orange shirt because he works in railroads. He was getting mail out of his mailbox when all of a sudden a car hit him from behind and forced his face into his mailbox.
I got a hold of the numbers. Tulsa police say they've taken 8 reports of child abuse in the last week, 46 reports in the last month, and 496 reports in the last year. Lore says the first thing he saw when he looked out his window were the police pulling a girl out of the bushes.
There are 799 troopers statewide, but I found out that 208 of them could retire at any time. That's 26% of the entire workforce.
Requirements to apply are online, but for starters, you have to be over 21 but younger than 45. You can't have 2 DUIs or have been convicted of 3 or more traffic violations, among many other things.
A neighbor who didn't want to go on camera said the charges don't surprise him because he often saw a lot of traffic in and out of Baker's house at all hours of the day. And I did some digging and found out that in 2000, Baker served 5 years in state prison for similar charges.
Police tell me they want to be more transparent by adding an extra set of eyes to record what they encounter while patrolling.
Tulsa residents I spoke with say the new bill has them possibly thinking twice before they light up.
Opponents say some of their fears already exist with walls on buildings without windows or any interaction with the river. You also have garbage bins over here, even a grease trap, all within a few feet of the river water.
In this case, this shed was locked, but investigators say the suspects came prepared and brought some tools to get rid of the lock that was right here on these doors. Opened them up, walked into the shed, ransacked through it, only to handpick whatever they wanted.
Police said this was very scary. The 2 suspects walked up to the victims. They were playing basketball. And the police say those suspects made the victims get down on the ground like this, then took their keys. They also, according to police, took their wallets, and took off. Police say a gun was used, and this all happened around 11 o'clock last night. Now,
he says when he was following her up the stairs to her apartment that the man attacked him from behind.
I'm gonna knock on Eric Jordan's door just to see if he's home. No answer.
One man I talked to down the street didn't want to go on camera, but he told me he once found stuff stolen from him here. He says the house is abandoned, but people were squatting in it. So he called the city, and now it has a demolition order.
a dozen, and police say about 11 of them were rummaged through and things were stolen from them, like this one here, and you can see the broken glass still here in the window. And then we come around this way. This Honda was also one of the vehicles that was rummaged through and also broken in through or smashed the window. You can see this full glass still together basically here, but they're gonna have to get that fixed. And this all happened, we spoke.
Yeah, Shay, it's a pretty long video, 3 hours to be exact. Now that police chase actually only lasted for about 15 minutes. In that video, police say speeds reached to about 50 miles per hour, but the chase actually ended right here in this parking lot where police shot David English multiple times before he died.